think I left my hat in the kitchen. Hi, everybody. Hmm, there we go. What's up? We have a like, but no one's here yet. That's fun. I'm just gonna finish my other eye. Hang on. Mm, mm. This is not a makeup tutorial, I swear. Like as if anyone would mistake it for that. Oh, I hate doing this on camera. That's good enough. So, funny story. The car was in the shop all week. So I got to really dig into the video and really, give it everything I had, which is good because I had a lot for this topic. Some stuff I haven't got to address in a while. Mm. Well, modernly retro or something. I don't know. Oh God! And I left my notebook in the house. Did I really forget? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did I forget my hat and my notebook? Because if that's the case, we're just gonna have to go back in the house. That's a little embarrassing. Come on. We go back in the house and get the hat and the notebook. Mm. Hey guys. Okay, try not to shoot too much of other people. That's not cool. Where's my hat? Oh. And my notebook. Because somebody always says something interesting on these things that I want to write down. Dogs. Oh, let's go this way. Look at that. Mm. Beautiful day. All right. Oh, this poor garden area is. Need to pick up over here. Really, really bad. And we still have the roof. See, that's really. Oh, don't get me started on that. So frustrating. So we'll go under the awning. There we go. Hey, sorry, nothing interesting to say yet. I'm still processing because that was a lot. But I love long videos, right? Me too. Yeah, and it was, oh my God. Editing, it was a monster though. But like, yeah, sometimes there was, it's like they just really get going and then it's over. And you're like, oh, I could have gone for twice that much of that, you know? Yeah, my hair is just funny. It needs to grow out a little more. So, yeah, anything that, percolates up, just, we can do it that way. I was actually sort of happy to have her as a guide, because she had clearly carefully scripted whatever her thing was. Which gave me an opportunity to just follow along, and we addressed a lot of stuff. I had a lot for that topic. And some stuff I haven't touched on in a long time. And like, oh, that comment about it all being fun and games. I'm like, no. I've literally been physically assaulted over this growing up. So, no, it's not fun. Or games. What? It just sounds incredibly privileged, is what that is. Oh my god. Mm. And a bit about how she knows what she's talking about because she used to lurk on Witch Blur 10 years ago. I'm like, what? That qualifies you to present yourself in this academic aesthetic to learn with you about witchy myths? What? No. And we were debunking, an archetype that's actually pretty powerful in the minds of modern women. So I just don't get, like, why? Why would we need to debunk that? It's good to understand where it comes from. The truth behind myths, the actual history, is important to be aware of. Yeah. It doesn't mean that myths are meaningless or useless or need to be done away with. Like, good luck. Good luck. But the bait and switch at the end, I think, was my favorite. Right? Where she spends basically the entire video laying out this case for how it's been used in like feminist liberation circles and why that's bullshit. How the witch cult in the Middle Ages is a myth, and how, why basically we don't need to worry about any of that. It wasn't cover for misogyny. That the witch trials were not misogynistic in their general bent. That that's a myth. And so we should just disregard that idea, basically. Hi. You can't right now. You can't do that right now. Go talk to him. Right. The weed whacker. That doesn't add up. It wasn't even a witch, just accused or Wiccan. Yeah, internalized misogyny for sure. Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, I was thinking you could move inside, maybe. I just didn't want to disturb you. Right. And I just don't. I mean, it's probably not great to use the thing while all of that stuff is so wet anyway. I mean, it's electric. Yeah, precisely. Also, it just gets sticky, okay? And it's bad for the motor. When stuff is sticky in there. That's why we don't mow when it's wet either. Yeah. Go and talk to him. Anyways, yeah. So she debunks all this idea, all this stuff, all this modern mythology behind how we have embraced this image of the monstrous mother, right? She debunks all that and then turns around at the end and talks about how it's an example of how we think we're smarter than historical people, which is not what we've been talking about. Like, it has been used that way. Sometimes people do point at the witch trials, and I think generally use it as a sort of an example how all religious people are just kind of stupid or prone to hysteria, you know. That's how I've seen it used in that way. But that's not like the case that she had laid out at all. And if anything, like, I don't understand why the axe to grind with the Victorians. They seem not irrelevant, but they didn't need to be, I don't think, the key point in her thesis that they were. Like, I didn't think that was necessary. Like, the fucking Victorians, of course. Like, have you ever met any? No. What? That's weird. I mostly studied it from a psychological perspective back in college. Internalized misogyny. I don't know if I've ever studied that. Like, I mean, I have, obviously, but not in an academic, like an actual class setting. Oh, witch trials. Oh, wow. I bet they went pretty in depth in college. That's pretty cool. But so they were mostly in the 17th century, like almost all of them, right? So like what she's talking about is a myth. But the trials themselves were definitely extremely misogynistic in nature, even to the men involved, right? They were just seen as feminized. Yeah. Having that be a problem is misogynistic as hell. Using feminized as an insult for a man or a reason to disregard him or punish him or whatever is misogynistic as all hell. um, so she was literally denying that they were misogynistic because of that. Like, she makes my point for me at least a couple of different times. That's always fun. But yeah, I spent like an entire day editing that. You ever spent an entire day listening to your own voice when it's not even coming out of your mouth? Like, by the end of that, I was talking to my family, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my God, that bitch is groaning on again. Why don't she shut up? Oh, that's me. This is actually a fairly well-known phenomenon. This is one of the reasons people hire editors. Because just sitting and listening to your own voice is like watching the cringiest, like binge watching the cringiest television show on earth. Like, oh my God, I hate my voice. I couldn't do that. People make fun of me because I sound like a little girl. Oh, that's terrible. Well, you know, you could try smoking for 20 years. That fixed it for me. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, so he says it'll be fine, so any damage that ensues won't be my fault.
Okay, that's grand.
Sorry.
I guess we'll go sit on the back porch. I'm allergic to tobacco. I've almost died after concerts. Oh my God. That's terrifying. Yeah, imagine living back in like the mid-century, when people smoked everywhere, apparently. Elevators, hospitals, that kind of thing. Everywhere. Just give me a minute to get up, okay? I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I haven't even got a chance to touch my food yet. Sometimes I wish I was allergic to tobacco because that would solve this for me very easily, wouldn't it? If you can't smoke, then you don't smoke. I remember going to restaurants. Mom would sit us kids in the non-smoking, and she'd sit alone in the smoking section. Oh my God, just don't have a cigarette for a couple hours. That's what we do now. What the fuck? I mean, and I sit and I chain smoke on these live streams sometimes because I'm outside, I'm alone, I'm babbling at a camera, context. I kind of get it because I'm an alcoholic. I understand it. Yeah, but like, that's why I'm saying this. As I say, that's what we have to do now. If I want to go to a restaurant, I'm just going to have to wait or step outside, by myself. I'm sorry. So you just kind of, after a few years of that nonsense, I just got tired of it. And I'm just like, I'm just going to wait till I'm out of the restaurant, till I'm home. Like, I'm just going to wait 2, maybe 3 hours. And if I get a little cranky, well, that's my problem. I understand too. I guess that's what I'm saying. And that's what informs my approach. Ooh, okay. make 2 trips. We're gonna have to make 2 trips. Oh, god damn it. We're gonna have to make 2 trips. One of the stupidest reasons ever. My boyfriend started smoking so he could take more breaks at work. Wow. That's and he lives with you? That's shitty, right? Um dogs. Hell. He vapes now. Lovely. I never let him smoke inside. Right, yeah. I don't care about my pets. He doesn't want to even vape near them. Pot is okay. Yeah, it's not as bad for you. And I know that I happen to smoke in the house, but there would be absolutely no point in my punishing myself in that way by not smoking in my own home because, well, we live with someone else who will and does more than I do. So, you know, it is what it is. It does sort of take a lot of the motivation out of a lot of that sort of stuff. So. Anyway, so I gotta get something to sit on. It's wet over here. Is it actually raining? Or is it just dripping off the tree? No, it's actually raining. Just a little bit. And it's only gonna take him 10 minutes to do that anyway. So stupid. He was supposed to do this yesterday. Where is everyone? I'm not good at talking. Right, I know. Well, I mean, I am. I could just babble on and on. Like, what was something that got your attention about the video? Somebody said something about, I think it was Jamie who said something about the point about fascism. Because, you know, it's instinctive. This is how we distill our history to something that is like functional for us in our daily lives as opposed to just a big long fucking list of kings or some shit. It's the narrative that we draw from it, right? That's what the myths are, which is why a lot of times you'll be like, wow, you know what? Nebuchadnezzar was a real person or whatever. Yeah. So a lot of that's sort of how that works. But what these symbols mean, what these narratives mean, the morals of these narratives and what we draw into them is important. And yeah, fascists have, his totalitarians in the 20th century used this instinct for their benefit, presented that as the actual history, which is a lie. Fascist lie. There's a shocker. But this is something that was used to put us back in our place during the Enlightenment period. Okay. The idea of this monstrous mother that if you do not dedicate your life to motherhood and to nurturing and fulfilling your maternal role in society, you will become a monster. Yeah, for sure. We need to know where the myths come from, like the one about cats stealing baby's breath. Yeah. They do tend to like to sleep on your chest, though. I mean, truthfully, I think some things may just be people's imagination running away with them. I had that happen to me today. Like, the kids were sitting there watching the television and a commercial came on. It was a Ghirardelli commercial, right? And they skipped the commercial 5 seconds into it. But I was like, what? Y'all don't want to watch a skinny woman eat chocolate? She never gets to do that. Imagine being her the day of that shoot. Like that age, you have to really watch yourself to stay that thin. She doesn't eat chocolate at home. She doesn't eat ice cream at home. She doesn't eat any of that shit. She's spent all day getting paid to eat chocolate. Imagine being her. I don't even want chocolate anymore. Like, but that was just my imagination running away with me after this 5 seconds of this one ad. And I'm just using that as an example of how that can happen, right? Like, that's a fun yarn I spun about that, right? But like, from 5 seconds of this ad. So sometimes I think myths are just kind of people's imaginations all running away with them, like collectively in a similar direction. Does that make sense? Cats are weird and they do weird shit. I think a lot of times is what that is. Oh yeah, my mom has to make up a whole story for everyone we see. I don't want to, but a lot of times I find myself like, especially if I'm sitting with nothing, like at a concert. Oh my god, the kids' concerts! Like I'm terrible for this. I'll like look at the families like around us and like start making connections, and like drawing conclusions from the way they behave and like how they're dressed, and like it's terrible. And I acknowledge that I'm really just entertaining myself. I think that's the important thing. I'm not fucking psychic. I'm fairly observant. I figure there's a good chance I'm right about some of it, but would I swear to it in a court of law? No, like the imagination is an amazingly powerful thing. Like this way that I'm talking to you right now was an idea in somebody's head 50 years ago or whatever it was, right? But like it can be misused for sure. It's a power tool, is what it is, and you can construct some amazing stuff, and you can tear everything apart if you want to too. It's I don't know. I brought this up last week, and this is some of my nerdy stuff. But like, my mom believes in psychic. She went to see John Edwards. If you remember, oh, yeah, of course I remember John Edwards. Oh my god, the psychic guy, not the politician. Yeah, they both had amazing smiles, though. Do you think that's a coincidence? I want to say John with the H Edwards is the politician, and John without the H Edwards is the psychic. But I only remember that because my dad's name is John, so like that's the kind of detail I just noticed. And like my name Sarah is like one of those H names too. So like I noticed that. Not at all. But yeah, I definitely remember him. Of course I remember him. He had a television show, for fuck's sake. But like I cannot stand here and tell you that no one has ever known anything that we didn't know how they knew that. That does happen. Mysterious knowledge happens. As for the mechanism behind that, I don't think that it's dead people talking to you, for one thing. I don't. That, right off the bat, you have to be charismatic, yes. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it's a name that flows off the tongue, right? Just phonetically. John Edwards. Like it kind of ping pongs back and forth in a pleasant way. And it's simple enough to remember, but unique enough to be memorable. Like, anyway. Novelists. This is the kind of stuff we play with. But, fascinating to me. I'm just more skeptical. But right. I'm not saying it's not interesting. It is interesting because there's like, when you look at the stories, like modern, like current thought has this tendency to just be like, oh, you know that thing humanity's been talking about forever? Yeah, let's just disregard that. I'm not sure that's a good idea. just generally as a blanket statement, I'm not sure that's a good idea. To just disregard all of human thought. I'm not a traditionalist by any means. But how in the hell are you supposed to build anything with no tools with no materials? Why on earth would we disregard the entire collective materials of the history of humanity? What, because we have computers now? Where do you think that came from? So dumb. Y'all want to go inside? Is that why you're standing here with me, or is it just because it's dripping from the sky? Yeah, mysterious knowledge happens. I'm pretty sure it's not dead people talking to you. That's what I was gonna say. Is that I really don't think that happens. I'm not gonna say what happens to you after you die, obviously, but like, I don't think you're sticking around to talk to John Edwards. I really don't. I think that idea that your grandma's following you around, I think she's following you around in your mind, and I think that your, brain literally generates your experience in real time as you move through the world. So, yeah, we can always learn from the past. I mean, I recommend Plato's Allegory all the time. It's old as fuck, but awesome. I don't remember which one that is. I have gained more utility for like really ancient stuff recently, but for the most part, their literature just like leaves me flat, And I don't know if it's the language barrier or what, or the fact that we were forced to read, like, for lack of a better term, the Odyssey is fiction, right? Like a myth, fiction, whatever. We read it in English class, the same English class where we read Animal Farm, like. And as far as a fiction, like a novel, it's bad. Like, it's awful. Like, And then they went here, and then some stuff happened because the plot needed it to, for symbolism and some junk. And like, oh my god. Maybe that was a terrible introduction because they've noticed a lot of their nonfiction is better. when it's not myth so much, when it's more writings about life. My grandma gives us good parking. And you know what? I bet if she is watching you, she's perfectly happy about that. Oh, God. I started a book the other day, and the foreshadowing was in the second chapter, and I knew how it would go. You're not supposed to be able to see the foreshadowing on the first go-through. That's sad. I'm sorry. What was it that made it stick out to you? I don't hear the weed whacker. Let's see if we can't go back up front. Ooh, shoot. What are you doing lurking behind the door? Is he done with the weed whacker, do you know?
You're right.
Okay.
So after tax, that was $950?
Yeah. Yeah.
My paycheck was only $850. Oh, sorry.
I don't want to. I do want to have this conversation very much.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and take the boy to the.
That sounds fantastic. Do I need to? Well,
I'll move the Jeep in the car.
Okay.
All right, turn the TV off, keep your rig shoes on.
He does have a swimsuit. What the heck did I do with it? Shoot. Merciful heaven. Well, he can wear these. Well, I can't lay my hands on your suit right now. You can wear these shorts in the pool. He's wearing it? Oh, well, that's why I can't find it. Mayhem around here. Okay, towels. He did this. He can do this. I'm gonna go ahead and get them out anyway. It's gonna make me feel better. Here's towels. Okay. Your dad told you to put your red shoes on. Where are they? Probably your room. Go look. You done out here?
Yeah.
Groovy. Would you do me a huge favor and go get me my stuff off the back table? It's raining.
Just one. Stay.
Okay, you found one. Okay. Mayhem and madness, I'm telling you. Is the camera dirty or something? It still looks misty. Does it look misty or is that just me? No, but anyhow. I'm not gonna say that no one has contact with the dead, but like if you do, it's probably you. You know what I mean? Like they're probably not out in the world wandering around. Is all I'm saying. Like I don't certainly not like talking to strangers. Like what? How? Why? What? No. No. That's a massive red flag. Someone who claims to speak to the dead. Why are they hanging around talking to you? Oh, they're lost souls. Well, they found you. Why don't you help them get home instead of, using them for your own personal benefit? I'm just asking. Yeah, so that's just a massive red flag for me all the way around. Talking to the dead. Sure. Okay, because, oh my goodness. Sylvia Brown didn't ruin that for everyone. Poor, oh my God, what's her name? Was it Gina? One of the girls who was now, like, I am from Cleveland, Ohio. Remember, there was that fella in Cleveland, Ohio, who had those 3 women chained up in his house. You remember that case from a few years ago? I lived a few miles from that when that came out, okay? Your mom loves Sylvia Brown, of course. Yeah, how you just forget about all that? Okay, Sylvia Brown said, I think it was Gina, like, was on television. Gary Heidnick. No, that's actually not who I'm talking about. I don't know who that is. Oh my God, is there another one? I want to say his name was Soul.
Did you repeat your instructions?
Please get me my bag and my bowl and stuff off the back table.
All of it.
Yeah. But Soul might have been the one who ended up with a bunch of women buried in his yard. I don't know, but like that show, the Kimmy Schmidt, was literally based on this actual case that happened, okay? And like the Black Eyewitness Man in their theme song is based on an actual person who gave amazeballs testimony about how he saved this woman from this man's house because he heard her screaming, okay? No, so these 3 were alive. They were chained up in his house, and Sylvia Brown was on television telling this woman's mother that she was dead. Thank you so much. Just put that on the ground. Put that on the floor. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Castro. His name was Castro. Huh?
Do you know where my other shoe is?
I don't, baby. I'm sorry. I went in Sylvia's lake house when it was for sale. Her grift was good. Yeah. She literally, but so after, I want to say her name was Gina, got out of this man's house. She was his captive for like 13 years or some shit. So she was a missing child when she disappeared. Shit, yeah. Heidnick was in Pennsylvania. Yeah, see, I'm not even familiar with that case. There are so many. That's another reason why we were talking last week, I think it was, how I kind of got out of the whole true crime thing a few years ago. Because, everybody, if you're talking about the one I was, everybody heard about that. This was a big deal. They were alive when they were released, and he hanged himself in prison rather than seek trial over this. Okay, what a fucking coward. Anyway. She saw Sylvia Brown. She's, been his captive for years, and she's a grown woman with a kid now, and she sees this woman on TV, like Maury or Oprah or something, telling her mother via telephone that she's dead. I'm sorry, honey, but it's time to give up hope. That one's dead, And like the look on her face when she's talking about this. Fuck Sylvia Brown. Oh my God. Like, no. And if that's not enough to make you seriously question the whole talking to the dead thing, like, you don't, that's no. Mysterious knowledge happens, but that's not how. I don't think that's the mechanism behind that at all. Dare I say? I shouldn't get comfortable yet because they're gonna leave, and I'm gonna have to get up. So, was it Montel? Whatever, one of those. Do they still do those on like broadcast TV? I don't even know. Just stupid daytime talk shows. I wager they do. The audience is still out there. They're a bit older now. I know most people our age did not take any of that shit seriously. I have no idea. Drew Barrymore has. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's like the classier version of having a show in Vegas, right? It's like where entertainment goes to die. Sorry. She's like a gifted actress. That's weird and sad. I don't know. Maybe she got tired of pretending to be other people and decided to bank on the fact that she has one of the most recognizable names and faces on earth. I don't know. I can kind of see that. Depends on what she does with it, you know. It's like if daytime talk shows weren't shit, that'd be good. That'd be fine. I'd be cool with that. You know, just make them better. We don't have to do away with them as a concept, I guess. We can just make them not shit. Like the paternity tests, like, oh my god, that's Maury. I know, but still. I don't know. It's like you're not supposed to be at home during the day watching that shit anyway, right? I went every time we went to grandma's, Jerry Springer was on. Wow. Speaking of Ohio, you know, he was mayor of Cincinnati. Not everybody knows that. He was a politician too. Yeah, he was mayor of Cincinnati. My mom's family is from Cincinnati, so it's the kind of thing you just sort of pick up, right? That not everybody knows that. And like you just look at that career arc and you're like, wow, that got away from you, didn't it? It happens to some of the best of us, I suppose. Not that he was one necessarily, but his political career is not exactly what he's known for to posterity, is it? No. Not sure why they're still here. Yeah, I want to say it was in the 70s. Might have been the early 80s. I learned a fun fact recently. John Wayne Gacy filled out a survey before he died. His hero? Donald Trump. Wait, so when did he die? Was it before 2016? It was, wasn't it? I know a bunch of you. So do we all. So do we all. Oh my God. Last night, my son was saying something to me about, was it the Ninja Turtles? Or it was something like that. He was telling me something about way before. So he loved Trump before it was cool. What does that say about the people who followed suit? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Sometimes logic is terrifying in its implications, isn't it? Oh dear. Like, I don't think that that's a false equivalency to you. That was your point, wasn't it? I don't want to talk about it, but I don't understand why he's still like a free man. Like, I don't understand why that guy isn't in prison yet. I don't want to know. Yeah, you got my point. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to know why he's not in prison because then I would have to look into it and I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Just let me know when they finally arrest his stupid ass. That I want to hear about. Like, really arrest him, you know, and put him in prison, you know. sentencing day, I suppose it would be. I want to know about that. Otherwise, I can't believe we're not there yet. Like how you get away with all that shit all these years. Like lying to Forbes is the least of, being a stupid liar, an arrogant liar. But then like assaulting people is actually illegal. How you get away with that all those years? But yeah, we don't live in a patriarchal society. Not at all. Not at all. Money. Yeah. That too. But the Forbes thing has always confused me. Like, he lied to them about his net worth in the first place to get on their millionaires list or some shit, which is what gained him any notoriety in the first place. Like, back in the late 70s, I want to say it was. Hi. Oh, are you leaving? No. Why aren't you going to the pool?
Because Dad's talking to Mom. I mean, Grandma.
Oh. Ah! No, you're going to mess up my hair.
Whopper, 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 you triple double whopper.
Go in the house. Stop singing jingles.
I'm not singing jingle.
You're singing about a burger. Go in the house. So embarrassing.
How long even is it last?
Hello. Baby, please. Get off of me. What?
How long is your live stream?
It's supposed to be till 2 o'clock. It's almost 1 o'clock, so we're nearly halfway over.
I love you.
I love you too. Baby doll, you completely interrupted our conversation. Yeah. Go back in the house. 1. Yeah. You know those little black discs that you get around the 4th of July, or you used to? I haven't seen them in a while. Snakes, they call them. And she would light them on fire, and they would like zzz, like grow, like this little charcoal thing would like grow into this big thing of ash. And at first, it would go crazy, and then it would like slow down until eventually it just stops, right? That's kind of how I think of human life. Like all the time. This occurred to me as like when I was a kid, I think. This metaphor. And like, yeah, they're a fresh chemical reaction. So they're just all, wild, and then us older people, we've kind of been bubbling for a while. So we're just kind of simmering, like that's how I look at it anyway. I don't know. I haven't seen them for a while. Is it just that I'm shopping in the wrong place? Is it that I don't live in Indiana anymore? I don't know. People in Tennessee are pretty crazy about their firepower too. That was one of the biggest things I noticed when I moved from Indiana to Ohio as a kid. Teenager, 12, 13, I don't know. Right around there. There's a lot more regulations in Ohio of stuff like fireworks and liquor and that kind of thing. But they have this thing, and they have these here too, drive-through liquor stores. Have you ever seen one of those? That's a wild concept. You're still not allowed to have an open container in the car, but you can go get your beer without getting out of the car. The first time I saw one of those, I thought I'd had a stroke. We're 2 houses down. Yeah, no, the first time I saw one of those, I thought I'd had a stroke or it slid into an alternate reality or something. I'm like, we don't even have drive-through convenience stores, which would be nice. Or can I drive through somewhere and get a couple of packs of cigarettes and some soda? But I can drive through somewhere and get a 6-pack of beer? Fuck, what? What is that garbage? What is that? That's the kind of town I live in. So they have those in Illinois too, huh? See, in my recollection, they don't have those in Indiana. They're pretty, but you can buy vodka in Walgreens. So they don't need them, I guess. You know. I'm talking vodka, the big one. You can buy the little dinky one too, but you get the big one. Grey Goose at fucking Walgreens. Or at least 15 years ago you could in Indiana. Everywhere in Texas, they will serve you cocktails in a bag, and it's technically legal. Somehow it's in a plastic bag. Oh my god. That's one of the wildest things I've ever heard. And I cannot disbelieve you because I've met people from Texas. I've known people from Texas. And some of the stories are just so wild. Oh my god. Can you tell my family are drunks? Oh, that's the one I get, the handle. They got them in every store here. Uh-huh. Wow. Well, everybody's family has problems. You know, I tried being an alcoholic. It didn't work. Or take. Or whatever. I went through a lush period, I guess. In my late 20s. Where, you know, that was just my idea of a good time every day. And, like, I guess if I were going to become an alcoholic, it would have happened to me at that point. But I guess I didn't get that gene. Lucky me. That's literally why. I cannot say it's because I'm, like, practice temperance or some shit. We have people here getting DUIs driving lawnmowers to the drive-through liquor store. I don't suggest it as a lifestyle. You do see stuff like that around here, too. Yeah, you do see little dudes usually driving around on a tractor, usually. It's for a bit more rural than that, but yeah. Tractors on the side of the freeway, it's great. You know, I did it after I was assaulted to stop the nightmares. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I prefer the other. You know, it's far less addictive, and the hangover is so much more gentle. Like it's barely doesn't even have one really. But like I said, I just didn't get that gene. I don't find that I crave alcohol at all. Especially now since I got over 35 and a glass of wine will give me a hangover. Fuck that shit. No, not worth it. To me, you know. I'm sorry you were assaulted. That's terrible, honey. I hate to not to gloss over that, you know, but like, who hasn't that happened to at some point? I got lucky in that mine was just visual. He did not touch me. Actually, that's happened a couple of times, but only one of them was targeted. I didn't drink until I was 23. I only ever drank vodka. Never had a beer because it smells like my attacker. Well, there is a connection that, I mean, that something worked out for you, I guess. I have permanent brain damage. Right. No, I understand that mine was not as severe as that shit gets. Like it is the ultimate fear too, isn't it? You know, it's the invocation of male violence against women to use us somehow for their personal benefit. It's all bad. I'm sorry, I'm depressing. Someone else talk. Yeah, who else is here? There's a couple other people here. I can relate it back to the video. I just didn't want to be like that, you know, because that's why remembering the witch trials is important. You know, they have become sort of the archetypal symbol of male violence used to put women in our place.
Hey, I'll be right there, Owen.
And here comes the men. Ah!
Mama.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. There's the ray of sunshine, huh?
I'm ticklish everywhere.
I know.
I'm telling them.
Oh, they can't reach you.
I know. But if anybody comes to here, now you know.
I'm gonna have to private this because of your sweater.
What does that mean?
Y'all know what I'm saying.
I don't.
No.
Could you tell me, please?
I don't want to make a big deal about it.
Please.
Don't make a big deal about it. I'll tell you later.
But then you'll forget.
And you don't forget. You remember. Get off.
I'm gonna end the stream.
No.
Yes.
Stop it. It's not funny.
I think that's us.
I don't know. I was talking to somebody.
Who are you talking to?
She calls herself Critical Kitty. And we were having a conversation about boys, honestly, which is pretty funny because I am surrounded by them.
There's only like 2.
3.
3. And there's 2 girls in our house.
3. I'm one of them.
3 girls. You're not surrounded. There's the same amount.
At the moment.
3 girls, which means you, Jamie, and Grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And for the boys, Cole, me, and Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And if you count the dogs.
Well, Jamie's not here and Grandma's asleep and the dogs don't count.
But if you counted the dogs.
But we're not.
There would be. What's 6?
The dogs are all
3?
girls.
What's 6 plus 3?
9.
There would be 9 girls and 3 boys.
No, there's 6 girls and 3 boys. The cats are one of each.
So 10.
So small change of plans. I'm gonna take Owen to Kentucky. If I drive fast enough, it'll be 3 hours instead of 4, and he won't worry as much. I have the towels here in my hand.
I know. I just don't.
So.
Oh my god.
Bye-bye.
Come here, Homer. Oh.
Now this is my stream.
It's really funny that I've been hijacked by my son of all people. Y'all don't even know what we were talking about. That's so funny.
It's your channel. It's a patriarchy.
Right. Yeah, obviously.
Owen, cut it out. Just to keep you in the loop real quick, then I'll leave you alone. I'm going to take the Honda.
Okay.
When we're done, Mom wants to go with me and Owen to Emma's. If you want to join us, that'd be fine.
That Chinese place?
Yes.
Ooh, that's tempting.
So I'm not taking my phone.
Okay.
Because it has 5%.
And because pool.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's
I'm going to
cool.
go and kill the kid. I mean, drown the kid. I mean, go swimming.
The life jackets are really handy, aren't they?
I did a dunk with Owen. He popped.
Right? Oh! Everyone's gone. Oh, that's grand. Oh, hey. Somebody's back. What up? Oh. Like, I'm not glad Mary's not here, but I'm glad she didn't see that because it would have turned her stomach. Hmm. So we got an hour. We got an hour to talk about. I don't know. I guess it would have made more sense to do that as a Halloween video. I'm really happy with the Halloween video that I did, but what am I gonna do? Save this for next year? I don't know. Empowering female archetypes are always seasonally appropriate. The premiere went really well. It's nice when they're longer. I think it gives people more time to show up. I don't know where everybody is now, though, which is boring. I could go and get some warm coffee. I could eat this food that I cooked. I can tell you about that ridiculous auto bill from the dealership. It took them a week to diagnose the problem with the fucking car because the electronic parking brake was stuck on. So that sucked. Oh, I should put this on the over it side. Yeah. I'm just gonna put this over here. Get a little bit of traffic from this, and I like this community. So I think speaking of my Halloween video, I want to say they took it down. The occultism is trash. I want to say over it took that down because they didn't watch it. Like literally everything I do is from a feminist perspective. Everything. Occultism is trash. Why does that matter? Well, because men tend to use this to like intimidate and mind fuck you. So that's why that's important. Your own spiritual development is good too. That was really the main reason that we looked at it. But I did frame it that way, and I do think that is, everybody's met the wizard weirdo, right? Who wants to impress you with all his esoteric knowledge about this, that, and the other, and how he can, I don't know, talk to the dead or see the future, or he just knows you so deep in your soul, or whatever the fuck bullshit story it is. Understanding just exactly why that's nonsense is important, or can be. I don't know. Like I said in the video this week, I was raised among like Wiccans and pagans and spooky weirdos like that, so that was something important for me to learn in my travels. Oh, congealed butter. Yum. It's a beautiful day. I don't know where everybody is. I mean, I think it's a beautiful day. It is gray and cold and rainy. So when I say it's a beautiful day, it's not as if I think everyone is out enjoying the weather. On the other hand, like no one else lives in Tennessee. So I can't imagine it's a whole lot better in Illinois or Pennsylvania or the UK or like where are my regular viewers from? Where is everybody? Hanging out until 2 o'clock. And we'll see who shows. 4 likes already, so that's pretty good. Yeah. We'll go in here in a minute and get a cup of coffee. Sounds good. Hot cup of coffee on a chilly gray day. Oh, autumn. Magical stuff. I sure would like to sit somewhere comfortable, but that would put us stuck in the house. I can't do that. Been stuck in the house all week. The car was broken. And like I took the dog for a walk, but it's not the same thing, you know. And there's nice woods near our house, but I saved myself the better part of an hour taking the car down the hill to the woods. So, you know, and then Wednesday, Thursday, when it was nice, I was working on the video. And I just thought, well, you know, this is going to be a long one. This is going to be kind of a monster. This has got a lot in it. I might as well just actually focus on the damn thing for once, since what am I going to go to the store? Excuse me. So it was nice in that way. That I guess I could just go in and edit him out, couldn't I? It's funny, but most of the views that these lives get are after the fact. I don't know if that's normal for other people. Like, if there's anybody tuning into these regularly after the fact, leave me a comment somewhere and let me know when would be better for you if you want to actually, you know, catch the live. Because I just do this on Saturdays because it's when I'm trying to be convenient for other people. I figure y'all are not at work or whatever. But like, as you may have noticed, weekends are not super convenient for me. If I could do this on a Wednesday or something, that would be super. Okay. If we could do this at noon on like a Wednesday, I'd have to reorder my whole week, but we would get interrupted a lot less. There's nobody here this time of year. They're all at school and work and everything. And weekends are actually wicked busy for me. Maybe we'll do a poll. I'll just put up all 7 days and y'all can let me know what's best for you. You guys have to actually participate in the poll, though. I put it up on the community page, you know. I don't know if this get recommended to people, but I swear I will do this because this sounds amazing. And I'm just not a schemer like this. This has not occurred to me until just now. Like, I'm literally in charge and I can do this any day of the week I want, right? So, am I Sultan or am I Sultan? I will put up a poll. Y'all go look for it and participate in that this week. Okay? Did I leave my phone in the house? Doing all of this, but I don't even have my phone on me. That's fun. Mm-hmm. We can just do it here. An image poll? I don't even know how I would do that. Okay. I'm sorry. I usually try and put something, pretty or fun or interesting with the posts just because I know I appreciate that. Who doesn't like a fun picture? But, we're going to do a poll. We're just going to do a poll. Okay. Okay. For you, which day is most convenient for attending or catching the premiere live stream? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Scooting down the page. Oh, I can't add all 7 days. You guys. This is why people don't like software engineers. It didn't occur to you that this might be a really common poll structure. I can't even do 7? Like, really? Oh my God. Okay, let's try it another way. This is fun. This is why people don't like software engineers, you guys. Come on. This is really sad. Which is more convenient? You know what? Let's just start over. Because it doesn't want to cooperate with me. So, we'll just start over. Which is more convenient for you? And live stream. There. We'll start with weekdays or weekends. And go from there. Because I can only add 5 options at a time. We literally cannot have a poll with each day of the week on it. Sorry, guys. Sorry, y'all. That's lame. My bad. Not my bad. Like, fucking. So, I don't know. I guess I could leave this one public for a week or so. I could, and then private it. I could say all this stuff next week too. I could just sort of take a look at my analytics and see when y'all are watching. Which I might actually do that, because like legit, if you guys are like around more on like a Wednesday, Thursday afternoon, or literally any day that isn't when everyone is home, then maybe we'll do that. Maybe, a noon premiere, a 1 o'clock live stream on a Wednesday or Thursday. I'm thinking maybe it might be nice. Like again, I'd have to reorder my whole week. But that would give me weekends to do anything with anyone, like without having to like. This comes up a lot, and like I'm not even mad, but like if you guys are not going to show up, then that means y'all are busy on the weekend, which makes sense. Okay, so I mean, would it be more convenient to like watch this maybe at the desk, huh? I mean, I'm not judging. I don't care where you yeah, you want to hide in the can. I don't know. Whatever. Um we've all done it. Like cuz you just want to finish something or something. I don't know. I've heard that's a mom thing, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Pretty sure that's a corporate thing too. Especially in these days of everyone having their own, little pocket computer. What are they going to do? Make you give up your phone when you walk onto the floor like this is high school? Oh, wait, they don't even do that in high school anymore. That's something we can talk about. I don't really have a point on driving out with that. I just think it's really interesting how 20 years ago, having a phone out at a restaurant, during any kind of a meeting, during, anything like that, you didn't have a phone out because that was extremely rude. Oh, what? You're too busy to be here with us right now? You're so important? You have something else to do? Okay. And like we didn't bring electronics to school. I graduated in 2002, but so pre-smartphone. We didn't bring electronics to school because they got confiscated and you never saw them again. Unless it was a calculator, and sometimes you had to convince somebody that that's what it was, so they wouldn't take it away from you. I've seen that. Okay, like, and these days, like when my teenager started texting me from high school, the first few times that happened, I was like, "It's 12:30. Aren't you in class? I'm at lunch." Okay. Okay. Like what? Like they don't. I know for a while they were like you weren't supposed to have your phone in school, and if they saw it, they would take it from you. But like they had to return the shit because them bitches are expensive, right? They're gonna hear from your parents if you don't get your phone back, and so it's just gradually become so accepted, and it's gradual, but it's also been really quick. 20 years, I think. Really, in the span of 20 years, from about the time I graduated high school to now, smartphones have become so ubiquitous and accepted. It used to be considered extremely rude to have it out in an elevator, Maybe y'all remember that guy from the British guy with the giant cell phone. Like that was his bit, was he would go around talking loudly, obnoxiously into a massive phone, right? And now, people literally walk around too everywhere because something happened in the outside world and you had to take a call, and like no one cares. I don't care. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is some sort of example of the downfall of society. I'm not saying that. I just think it's really interesting. Had this shift in attitudes because we're all the same people, pretty much. For the most part, the world population hasn't shifted that much in the last 20 years that none of us are still around here. Remember the before time, right? Not yet. What do we got? It's almost 1:30. All right. Hey, somebody's back. What's up? How you doing? Who are you? How's your Saturday going? What's up? I was just talking about cell phones. I had a whole rant about cell phones that nobody heard. Boo. Just how attitudes about them in public have completely changed in the last 20 years. I'm like, I don't care. Oh, and now you're gone again. Okay, whatever. I won't repeat myself if there's nobody listening right now. That's groovy. I'm going to tell her about this. I'm going to have to tell Critical Kitty that she's like, I'm sorry, I'm depressing. Someone else talk. And then, like, literally no one else is even here. You jinxed me, honey. You jinxed me. Oh, dear. What was me? I'm just going to have to actually cut this off punctually at 2 o'clock because there's nobody here. And then go and take my kid to see his girlfriend like I told him I would. So Yeah, and like seriously consider maybe doing this on another day. Just, for shits and giggles. I mean, fuck. Let's take a look at the analytics, right? And if you guys are watching during the week, then like, maybe we'll do this during the week. And then I can do family stuff on the weekends, and like, yeah, that might be nice if you guys are down. If they have the work. See, I've been doing this under the assumption that like people are busy during the week, like too busy for my ass. You know what I mean? Like, but maybe I've noticed also that the weekends are sort of this time when everybody tends to come together and like do stuff together. So mine are at the pool right now, which I'm fine with not being at the pool right now. Just to be clear, I didn't really necessarily. We went last week, and I'll probably go next week, and I don't necessarily need to go to the pool right now. I'm fine with that. Excuse me, but on the other hand, maybe y'all are at the pool right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already got a positive comment over and over. Thank you very much. This one was kind of dense because I had to go and find an actual historical document somewhere. I had to go and find an actual academic source on this witch trial stuff because Cass Rowe is just sitting there talking so much nonsense and like stringing shit together to create this framework, meanwhile accusing other people of doing the same. And it's like, yeah, you are both doing that. One of them is really nice and empowering for women all over the world, which is embracing this idea that, having a life outside of motherhood does not make you a monster. That's good. That's what we do when we embrace the witch archetype, is we embrace the idea that womanhood is not all motherhood or monsterhood. Okay? Those are not your only two options. And that not being a nurturing maternal figure in society and fulfilling your feminine role does not make you a monster. Right? And that is what those women were persecuted for under the guise of. Right? And Kaz is sitting there trying to say that, no. This idea that the witch trials were misogynist persecution is a myth. No, that's the truth. That is the kernel of truth that the whole rest of that mythos has been spun around. Because, yeah, they were. And we had to go to the period documents. We had to go to a source document. Happily for everyone. I just happen to have a subscription to History Hit TV right now. So I literally just had to go in there, type in witch trials, and that shit came right up. So, thank you, History Hit TV. And the woman whose name escapes me, the lovely Scottish lady who was reading out the trial document for us. Her accent was really pretty, but yeah, no, the language, he doesn't even refer to them as women. He literally just calls them witches or creatures. Yeah. There's no question about the bias in that court document. It's written by the court clerk, okay? Who she mentions, I don't think I put this in the video, but she mentions this, that he's unknown to history otherwise. Thomas Potts was his name. And he's unknown to he disappears from history after composing this stuff. Like, he was not a famous person. Okay, he was literally just the court clerk when they tried these witches, and 11 people were executed in 1612, I believe it was. Have you guys watched the movie Dangerous Beauty? Oh. I think so. Which one is that? But yeah, they were covered for misogynist oppression. They did not happen in the Middle Ages, though. That part's true. Yeah, and they were the only way you could actually believe that there was some kind of secret witch cult meeting in the woods in medieval Europe is if you believed the stuff that the people said in the the confessions. that, made under torture and whatnot, which I don't know about you guys, but I've always heard that you're not supposed to take confessions made under torture as anything other than, the terrified ramblings of somebody who just wants the pain to stop. Venice courtesans. Ooh, no, I have not, but that sounds fun. True story. Oh, cool. Is there poison involved? I bet there is. Ooh, and political intrigue. Ooh, Venice. Sweet. Which century are we talking? I'm guessing probably is Renaissance, right? Or maybe a little earlier. I bet the costumes are amazing, right? You don't set something in medieval Venice and not go all out on the costume design, because that's I think ancient Egypt is the only place you might find more fun for a costume designer than medieval Venice. I'm not one, but look at that shit. Black Plague. Yeah, okay, so medieval. Yep. Venice was a powerhouse, especially the early Middle Ages. Oh, Venice was crazy. Some of the stories come out of that place. Woo-wee. Medieval Venice was the shiznit for drama and some weirdness too. They had some serious cultural weirdness going on because they were both isolated geographically, but at the same time they were extremely cosmopolitan. It was one of the biggest trading hubs between the East and the West, right? So that's a weird combination. Costumes are amazing. Sweet. And you'll add that one to the list, unfortunately. Oh my god. I think the last movie I actually said all the way through was Puss in Boots. And that was the first one for at least a year. And we watched that one as a family because I had genuinely heard that it was supposed to be pretty good. And it was. So that was nice. It feels to me, hopefully, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, hopefully that that's a nice way to put an end cap on that whole universe. Please, can we stop making Shrek movies now, please? Please, can we go out on a high note, please? There's so many things I want to see. I don't, I would have to really make an effort to weave it into my life right now. And I had a friend of mine. She's an older lady I work with at my church. Y'all, I'm telling you, sometimes life just takes this form. And you just sometimes have to sit back and go, what the fuck? God damn. What? What am I? Okay, all right. Yeah, so there's this old lady I work with at my church. She just kind of offhand, she's like my mother's age, and she just kind of offhandedly commented, yeah, you're in the busy time of your life right now. As if this was, self-evident. Which I discovered this listening to something, I don't know, years ago. Maybe, or I might have been reading Irma Bombeck, honestly. I don't remember where I encountered this idea first, but that, your 30s and 40s are the busiest time of your life, because if you have kids, you've probably had them or are having them. And if you have a career, that you've been working on since your teens and 20s, that's ramping up or going steady, right? So you're doing that, and you're doing the family, and you have a spouse, you have a relationship with somebody. You got all the gears turning, basically. All the life gears are in motion during that middle period of your life. And eventually, your kids grow up, your career, maybe you build it to a point where you don't have to do stuff all the time anymore, or you hand stuff off to somebody else, or both, or maybe you shift gear, there's some of these gears start to spin down on their own, is what I'm saying. As you start to get towards later middle age, a lot of the time. So Yeah, I don't have time to watch a lot of movies right now, is what I'm saying. But I plan on, I do comfort myself with the fact that barring the fall of civilization entirely, movies will be there. And there's a really good chance I'll be able to see and hear well enough to appreciate them when I'm older. So I'm in no hurry, really, to watch a bunch of movies. I'm looking forward to having piles of entertaining material when I'm older and I have less to do. I think that might work out. So it's kind of nice, really. I don't have to worry about being bored in my old age. Do I? At all? Who does? Who's bored and then why would you be bored? I mean, I'm not there yet, so I can't say, I guess. But having a plan is better than not having a plan. Oh my goodness. And like retirement is fucking hard to like retirement age, by which I mean, when you're older and you really can't work so much to support yourself. Like heaven forbid you actually live long enough to become physically aged, right? You can't work 40 fucking hours a week at 70. Like you shouldn't. That's terrible. That's exhausting. That's like asking a toddler to walk a mile. That's terrible. Why would you do that? It's not physically appropriate to that time of life, right? Me right now, I could work 40 hours. I could walk a mile, right? I don't necessarily want to do either of those things, but I'm physically capable of it without exhausting myself. And so retirement age is hard to think about because, well, who the fuck thinks they're going to get to retire? Do you? I'm not retired. I don't do a whole lot to make cash money right now. I'm writing a book. I'm building this channel. We're building our little community here. So, again, I have plans. And I just figure better plan than no plan. Right? Things never go as planned. But it's like what I was saying about ideals a couple of weeks ago. An ideal is not something you're ever going to attain. It's like the horizon. It's your orientation of motion. It's your direction of motion. The ideals you keep in your mind orient you in the direction you want to go. Okay. The fact that you never achieve them, it's like you're never going to reach the horizon, and that's okay. That's not what it's for. Another great one was Charmed Life. Ooh. I don't think I've even heard of that one. Is that about witches? No, that's that show. My sister loved that show. Because again, we were raised Wiccan, okay? Which sounds bizarre to people, I think. I've definitely seen people who they've had this look across their face when I told them that they just straight up didn't believe me when I said that. No, there were hundreds of people in the general central Indiana area in the mid-90s who were practicing Wiccans. They were there. I don't know what to tell you. Boomers. The idea that there were a bunch of fucking witchy boomers back in the 90s, this is not so ridiculous, is it? I don't think so, obviously, but it's not even just on its face. I don't think so ridiculous. But so then when people start talking about witchy stereotypes, I grew up with that shit. So it hits me a little hard. And so, I think that was when I really decided that I was definitely going to cover this video. What was to respond to this video was when Kaz was all, it's all fun and games to claim you would have been one of the burned ones. No, it's not. No, it's not. I never made that claim. Other people made that claim for me, aggressively, in my face. All right? Somebody told me, my dad used to come pick me up from school sometimes, and somebody said he looked like Anton LaVey. And that is how I learned who Anton LaVey was. The guy who founded the Church of Satan. I went and looked that up, and I went, yeah, he kind of does. Not on the internet, mind you. I had to find a copy of that book. which wasn't terrifically difficult for me because all I had to do was go ask somebody, hey, who is such and such? And they went, oh, ha, 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 yeah, he kind of does. Let me show you. Like, this was not hard for me to find. These resources were just all around me, and it's the kind of thing that I absorbed like through osmosis growing up in the way that a lot of other people absorb Christianity, right? Which is fun. So a lot of people have these, speaking of black and white things, like the whole good versus evil, heaven and hell, saints and demons dichotomy, like so ingrained in their minds to the point where we find this in, especially film. You'll see the idea of heaven and hell without God, which is like Christian heaven and hell presented in film without God or Jesus or any of the theology attached to it, as if that's just what the afterlife is, just generically. And like, I watched some of these movies as a kid. All dogs go to heaven, anybody? It's packed with Christian theology with no God, which seems a bit strange. There's no Jesus, no God, none of that. But that's definitely Christian heaven and definitely Christian hell. In a Don Bluth movie made for children. So, these ideas are just ingrained. And I did watch that one, obviously. But, like, these ideas are ingrained in most people's minds, I think, in a way that they just not in mine. Because I encountered them sometimes, especially as I got older. And I, was a little kid when I saw that one. And I went back and watched it as an adult. I had my own kids. I put it on and I went, holy shit. I mean, I know he dies, but holy shit. Like, you literally have to be good or you're going to go to fiery pit. Like, wow, messaging in some of this stuff is so incredibly Christian, right? And it's just baked in to the point where if you don't know that that's not, like, no, like other faiths don't believe that stuff, and if you're not familiar with those practices and those people and that outlook on the world, then maybe, I didn't notice that when I was 8. Everybody I knew, like in the old Simpsons episodes, Marge prays to, she prays before bed at night. As a fairly regular thing in the early seasons, which again didn't strike me as odd watching it at the time as an 8-year-old, but looking at it as an adult, I'm like, wow, you don't see that very often in sitcoms. People said this shit was like bad for you, like Bart Simpson was going to be the fall of humanity, right? Did they forget that shit? Did they not actually watch the show? I have a feeling a lot of those people didn't actually watch that show. Early Simpsons is like some of the most wholesome shit. Like, yeah, Bart Simpson gets up to trouble. Have you ever heard of Dennis the Menace? Like, this is an archetype. I don't know for a fact. I don't think I know for a fact that Bart Simpson is a play on Dennis the Menace, but I'm pretty, I'd be shocked. He literally carries the same weapon. What is it? A slingshot in early seasons too, just like Dennis the Menace. So it's the archetype of the troublesome young boy child. Like, he's a little rabble rouser. He's got a little too much energy. We met one of those today. Like, I literally have one of those in my house. So it's just, some of them are like that at that age. It's just like I have another theory that I've had since high school that was one of those things I thought might fall off as I got older and I came to understand things better, and this one's just been reinforced. Every male on the planet goes through a phase between the ages of like 12 and 16 where they are just a prick. They're a selfish prick, and it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a kind-hearted person, really, because there's just something going on in your brain. You are completely self-absorbed. Maybe girls do too. I don't know. I was one, so it's harder to... I venture to say that probably. And our girls, I frankly have not been so close to them, unfortunately, so I really don't want to speak to that. But, yeah, no, every guy on the planet goes through that phase right around that age, where they're just a selfish prick. And I don't know exactly, like I say, what the feminine manifestation of that is. I'm sure there is one. I want to say my mom used to say something about 16-year-old girls are a nightmare. She had too. I mean, I'd ask her, but no, I don't want to talk to her. So, and I ain't gotta. Yeah, adulthood. Woo. It is such a beautiful day. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm having a good time. Just watching the rain. I tell you, these aluminum roofs are really, durable. But they sound like a fucking drum set when it rains, and God forbid it hails. Oh my god! What did you say? Like, oh my gosh! And people have them put on their houses, like the whole house. Will have a metal roof, which again, very durable. And I hear that they're, great for energy costs and everything. And my husband wants to get one, and I can't wait to find out how they insulate it so that the whole house doesn't sound like a drum kit when it rains. I'm not having that. There must be a way to prevent that. I cannot be the only person that doesn't want that. That sounds like noise, the level from hell. Just, the worst. So after, you've spent all that money, then you can't sleep when it rains at night. Like, I figure that's not how that goes. That can't be how that goes. We were going to go in and get some coffee, weren't we? Did I forget about that? So I'm going to get up here in about 15 minutes. And then I'm going to take so-and-so to so-and-so's house. And then the other two are at the pool. So, oh my God. I might end up with an hour or two to work on something. What should we use that for? Oh my God. I was bragging last week, I think it was, because I finally started the rewrites. And I did, and I haven't gone back to it since. I spent so much time on this week's video. Which is grand, But on the other hand, I don't want to put off the other thing just because it's like unpleasant. And like, my older one was telling me he's writing something for a friend of his, like as a special request, like a piece of fiction. He's writing something for a friend of his. And the subject matter is making him uncomfortable because you have to like engage with the feelings in order to write them. And I was like, yep, that's the same problem I've been having for a year, my man, for a year. Because in order to, write love, you have to get into like the mindset of a loving moment in order to make that romance feel real at all. In order to write, your character going through something terrible and fear inducing, you have to like feel that in order to feel whatever it is. It can be exhausting. And otherwise, and I'm not sitting here saying like the stupid artistic thing of you must suffer for your art. That's not really what I'm saying. It's more a practical issue of how you're supposed to describe something that you don't feel. And you might remember how it feels to fall in love. You might remember how it feels to be afraid. But in order to really catch the essence of that, you have to conjure it up in your own mind first. And that can be really exhausting. So, it's like the difference between trying to describe someone from memory versus looking at them. The one where you're looking at them is probably going to be more accurate. Like, duh. Oh, my gosh. And like I was saying, book 3, at the beginning of book 3, we get to set up how we recover from the events of book 2 and, build to something a little nicer for our characters throughout the first part of book 3 that then, gets torn down. And in order for that to mean anything, the thing that had, gets, it has to, I don't know. I feel like you can probably see how this is exhausting. And just thinking about it is kind of exhausting because first I have to go through oh my God. And I already did this. And then but I rushed through it. So now I get to do it again. What have I done? What have I done? I mean, and like this new version, like literally starts like the minute book 2 and like after, like you could step from book 2 to book 3, and it's literally like the next moment now. Whereas before there was a gap, because I think in between books is a nice place to put a gap, right? People maybe expect one there. And it just doesn't work though, because you know when crazy shit goes down and like well, people die, you know, and you're recovering from that. It's really hard not to use the immediate aftermath of that as the illustration of that. Like, duh. So that's where I'm sitting now. Like, I don't want to go write that. That doesn't sound like any fun. Like, you know, people were killed. Now we gotta, but life carries on. Let's, it's, oh. And then life does carry on, and it gets to be okay, for a while, and new characters are introduced, and some interesting stuff happens. But, conflict and everything, so it's I don't know, because on the one hand it's difficult, because I do want, on the one hand, I want to sort of incense people. I want to upset people. I want the reaction of the reader to be, what? No, we have to, that was, that's the reaction I'm going for, is not a positive one. Unfortunately, I'm making points, since you know me. I have points I'm making. And it's not the kind of thing like I want anyone to go into this with the illusion that there's going to be some beautiful happy ending, because that would be extremely disappointing, I think, as a reader experience. And I hope, while there is sort of a fairy tale vibe to especially the first one where she's more of a child, I hope it's where I'm going for more sort of haunting and spooky fairy tales, instead of, wish fulfillment, pretty princess kind of fairy tales. Which is ironic, because the main character lives in a big old house that looks like it. No, it doesn't. It's technically a castle. So, again, themes. Okay. Because and one of the big themes is that looks can be deceiving. And that's just one example of that. So, just because somebody lives in a fucking castle doesn't mean they're going to get a happy ending, does it? Anyway. Let's go get some coffee. Oh, we got about 5 minutes. Let's go get a cup of coffee. It's a cup of coffee. It is a beautiful day. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Not the house across the street, but like the sky. It's beautiful. Oh, so nice. And it's warm enough that I can sit out here like this and enjoy, the smell of the rain and leaves and whatever. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Did you get the mail today, hon?
I have not. Let me get a whole pot of fresh coffee sitting right here. All right. Somebody put the creamer back in the fridge. I don't know why anybody ever bothers to do that. No, wait. Is it just gone? No, it's gone. I used the last bit before. That was me. That was me too. Are we finally out of Thanksgiving leftovers?
There's all the mashed potatoes there.
There's still mashed potato. You know, I think that might be a false flag because there's really not a whole lot left in that big bowl. I just didn't feel like transferring it over to something the other night when I was in the middle of frying all that stuff. There's no good view of this room. There just isn't. Judge me if you will. But I enjoy it. Mm. And it's already cold. Not because of the creamer, but because that's been sitting there for 2 hours probably. Mm. So, yeah, now we got 5 minutes. Okay, cool. We'll go back outside and wrap it up. Mm. Oh, that creamer's good. It's so much better than their stuff used to be. It all used to taste like coconut. I think sometimes people use coconut milk as an ingredient in things, thinking that no one will be able to tell. They are mistaken about that. That and artificial sweeteners. I can always tell because I hate them. And coconut. I hate coconut. I don't understand why people eat coconut. I mean, if you're starving on a deserted island, then okay, fine. But so what am I going to do with my free hour? Probably not that. Probably not that. I'll be honest. That's not long enough to get anything done anyway. That's not long enough to really get anything done anyway. When it comes to writing a novel, 1 hour, 2 hours even. Ooh. That's just, just enough time to really get in the flow of anything, and then you get interrupted, which, oh my God. Is that the most annoying thing ever or what? When you're trying to do, really anything, but especially, a creative, self-driven project where the only structure it has is the one you give it. There's no framework you're following or any directions or instructions that you have to go back to other than, maybe what you wrote down. So getting interrupted can really be like, you could be maybe juggling something that doesn't exist anywhere else. And if you drop it and it, breaks into 1,000 pieces, that can be really like, oh man. Like, ideas are mental objects, right? And that is how I talk metaphorically about them, as if they were mental objects. It's a metaphor, but a simple one. And I swear, I've had that where, you're pulling this together and you're pulling that together and you're kind of spinning up an idea, right? And you're spinning it and you're spinning it and you're pulling this and you're pulling that. And it's getting kind of big and kind of interesting looking, and then you get interrupted. And, maybe if it gets too big, maybe you can't hold it and have a conversation with someone at the same time. And I've had it happen before where they just it just falls and smashes into a million pieces. And you're like, shit. I'm going to have to try and gather that all up again. I don't remember what I did. Shit. Oh. But like I said this earlier, imagination is a powerful thing. Because it affects the material world. Okay, I want to make that perfectly clear. I'm not wandering off into, just a bunch of esoteric fantasy here. I'm fascinated by the way the two interact. Okay, because I can't imagine how I would ever get away from this idea of the material world is like the watering hole that we all have to return to sustain ourselves. You have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to shit. You probably could use a bath, right? These are the things we all have in common. And then there's a whole lot of stuff built on top of that. But the only reason that it's there, and it grows, from the material, and then we spin it into other stuff. And I'm fascinated by that and the interplay between that. And it's really what makes us human, right? It's why I have these and this nifty haircut and this thing, right? It's because of the interplay. One more great movie was the prize winner of Defiance, Ohio, also based on a true story. It was written by the daughter. Some great quotes in there. Ooh. That sounds ominous. But hey, you guys, we finally got a couple people here, but it's 2:00, so I'm gonna cut it. Excuse me, because I might actually get a quiet hour or two to do. Not writing, but something. Maybe we'll go and see how the poll is doing. Research next week's video. I don't know. Anyway, I will see you guys next week. Yeah, either way. Anyway, scheduling for right now, we'll just say next Saturday. And y'all have a good one. Till then, bye-bye.